Welcome back. I am theundj, and this is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. We're into another episode. All kinds of crazy things going on. You know it never stops, and neither do we. You ready to get started? Let's do it.
So AI can steal your fingerprints now. Yay.
I'm wearing gloves for this one, and I'm gonna need you to stay with me because AI can now steal fingerprints from a photo taken from 5 feet away, 10 feet away, and it could still recover about half the print. This isn't theoretical. In China, a researcher did a live demonstration on TV, and in 2025, criminals tried to use a photo that someone posted to get into the smart lock on their home. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I delete this app? I'm right there with you. But good news, this would have to be a highly targeted attack. So your brunch selfie, probably fine. Also, the quality of the photo, the blur, the lighting, all of that's important. But if you notice peace signs, thumbs up, and the little hearts going into retirement, now you know why.
So basically, you can't take selfies with your fingers showing anymore. We live in a day and age where your own fingerprints can now be stolen off your own pictures. Is nothing sacred? And of course, this technology is coming from China. So you already know the US has been working on it. This might actually be the reason why Apple got rid of the fingerprint scanner. But what's your take?
You know what my take is? AI is out of control, and it's already out of the box. Pandora does not go back inside the box. So whoever unleashed it, thank you for this, because we're going to spend the next 50 years getting past the damage that AI does if it doesn't take us down.
These dolphins know exactly what they are doing. This is a pufferfish. When threatened, it releases a neurotoxin. Dolphins figured out that a small dose doesn't kill you. It just changes your perception. So they bite it. Gently, just enough. Then they pass it to their friends. Scientists watched an entire pod take turns with the same pufferfish for 20 minutes straight. They weren't hunting it, they were sharing it. After contact, dolphins float near the surface, barely moving, staring into nothing. Scientists call this intentional behavior. They are the only animals besides humans known to seek altered states for pleasure.
I still don't trust them, but they just got a lot cooler in my book. Now, the first one, pretty good. Really can't explain that. The second one, that could have very easily been his own hand. So I don't know about that. But the first one, okay. Could it be AI? Yep. Says it's not. Second part,
That's why you need to be careful what music you listen to. Because if music can get rid of a demon, it can attract one. And most of the music out here now attracts demons. And then you wonder why your lifestyle, you're grooving and bumping in the car. But when you get out, you can't figure out why your life is standing still. Sometimes it's the music that you're listening to, because whoever you listen to, what's on them attaches itself to you. Rick Joyner said that he was in a vision, and the Lord told him, he said, in the last days, the enemy will bring up singers and other musicians, he said, and they will baptize millions of people into the demonic in. Whoever you accept, you get what's on them. Unfortunately, I reject a lot of stuff in what we call church. You know, not all gospel music is gospel.
it's a very simple message. Again, I'm a DJ. I love music, but just be selective. And it's probably good to have a variety. Don't just keep locking in on the same music. Just in case it's on the wrong frequency, the other music can help you out. But music is awesome. It can do a lot for your life. But just be careful. Silence is golden.
According to psychology, the highest form of intelligence, it's not memory, it's not logic and reasoning, it's not even IQ. The highest form of intelligence is a form of intelligence called metacognition. Metacognition is the rare ability to think about your own thinking processes in the moment. Not later. A lot of people think because they're reflective or meditative later that this is metacognition, but it's not. Metacognition is like a computer rewriting its own code in the moment while it's running.
Most people think their thoughts are who they are, but metacognition begins the moment you realize you can observe your thoughts. Metacognition simply means thinking about thinking, but that definition barely scratches the surface. At its core, metacognition is the awareness that your mind is a system, not your identity. It's the ability to step back and notice how you process information, why certain thoughts arise, and what patterns repeat beneath the surface. Here's the shift that changes everything. A thought is not a fact. An emotion is not a command. A reaction is not your nature. Metacognition is the space between stimulus and response. The pause, where consciousness watches the mind do what it's always done. Most people live inside the stream of thought. They don't realize the stream can be observed from the riverbank. When metacognition activates, something subtle but profound happens. You stop being possessed by your mind and start becoming aware of it. You notice loops, old narratives, emotional habits dressed up as logic, fear pretending to be intuition, ego pretending to be protection. This isn't about overthinking, it's about seeing clearly. Your mind is incredible, but it's also conditioned by childhood trauma, culture, survival, repetition. Without metacognition, the mind runs on autopilot, repeating what once kept you safe. With metacognition, you begin to recognize, this is a pattern. This reaction isn't happening now, it's happening from memory. This belief didn't originate with me. And that awareness alone starts to loosen the grip. Metacognition doesn't silence the mind. It gives you distance from it. It's the difference between I am anxious and I notice anxiety arising. One is identity, the other is awareness, and awareness is freedom's doorway. This is why metacognition sits at the intersection of psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and healing. Because the moment you can observe the mind, you are no longer trapped inside it.
I'm just giving you terms that you need to know, giving you somewhere to go, rabbit holes that I want you to dive real deep. This is one of those words that some people know, a lot of people don't. Get to know this word very well and what it means, and then do the homework.
In the 1850s, just after the last reset, there began a massive push to reintroduce technology, culture, and even people to the world. World's fairs had these massive exhibits called live infant incubators. These exhibits were insanely popular, drawing millions of visitors. They even had nurses in uniforms acting like caretakers. The babies weren't premature. They were being artificially gestated. This wasn't just a medical breakthrough. This was unfathomably advanced technology. Artificial wombs, mass baby production. Sounds a whole lot like a new world being repopulated after something big went down.
This is considered to be a conspiracy theory, but it's one that I don't find so far-fetched that it's just impossible or deserves no attention whatsoever. I won't put it past them, and you shouldn't either. I still believe that we were far more advanced before than we are now. It's just very hard for me to believe, with what I've seen, that all this came from rocks and sticks and discovering fire all of a sudden, beating our chest. Just not buying it.
But the culture has you focused so much on fucking somebody bitch and pulling up in a foreign and rapping about things that could get you locked up and then saying you about prison reform. Like, it's, bro, We brainwashed out here, bro. Come on, man. This is a free man talking. Democrats had us voting Democrats for food stamps for years, bro. What is you talking about? Guns in the 80s, taking the fathers out the home, Plan B, lowering our votes, making us abort our children. God should not kill. I can't tell y'all how to feel, but what I can tell you honestly is how I feel.
I'm noticing that a lot of people who have been deemed to be mentally unhealthy or some kind of radical, they never get that title until they start making a little bit more sense than usual, when they stop saying what everybody expects them to say. That could be a coincidence, but we already know there's very few coincidences, if any. So, as long as he was rapping and rapping well, he can jump on stage and he's just a troublemaker, a bad boy, has an attitude and a big ego. Now that he's saying these things, mentally unstable, something's wrong with him. We're worried about gay. It's the same pattern.
If you can blur your vision on command, you can do something most people can't control. Try it right now. Without squinting, can you purposely make your vision go blurry, then bring it back into focus? If you can, that's not normal for most adults. So inside your eyes are tiny muscles known as ciliary muscles. Their job is to change the shape of your eye's lens so you can focus on things that are close or far away. For most people, this happens automatically. They don't consciously control it. The brain just handles it in the background. But in some people, the brain still keeps voluntary control over these muscles. If you can blur your vision on command, it means you still have conscious access to part of your eye's focusing system. It's likely a leftover ability from a time when humans depended more on fast visual adjustments to survive. It's harmless, uncommon, and honestly pretty weird. Try it again without squinting and see if you can feel your focus shift. The scary part is that this is just one of the weird things some humans can do. There are so many other things that you have no idea human body is capable of.
Here's the point where I would make a bad joke about how I can absolutely blur my vision on command anytime I want to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the high road and say, if you can do this, let me know. I thought it was something that could just be done, but apparently very few people can do it. So check it out. Go see if you can blur your vision. Not the way I'm talking about.
Why is Flat Earth the most banned, most mocked, and yet the most viral conspiracy theory in history? Think about it. Out of all the wild ideas out there, aliens, secret societies, time travel, nothing triggers people like the words Flat Earth. If it's so ridiculous, why is it still everywhere? Why do platforms rush to censor it? Why do governments and scientists act like it's dangerous to even discuss? Here's the first strange thing. Flat Earth content goes mega viral. Videos questioning the globe get millions of views, faster than almost any other conspiracy. The more media mocks it, the more people get curious and click. In marketing, that's called the Streisand effect. The harder you try to hide something, the bigger it grows. Now ask yourself this, if Flat Earth is just a joke, why does it need this level of suppression? You can find endless alien theories online. Nobody cares. But post about Flat Earth, instant fact-check labels, bans, takedowns. Why? If it's nonsense, wouldn't people just laugh and move on? Here's the second layer. Flat Earth questions the foundation of reality. It's not about a shape. It's about whether the entire system has lied from the very beginning. If the Earth is flat, it means governments, space agencies, even schools have staged one of the biggest deceptions ever. That would mean control on a level far beyond politics. It's about controlling the map of your entire existence. And here's the wildest part. Flat Earth keeps people awake at night. Even globe believers admit the questions stick. Why can't we see real live footage of Earth spinning? Why are there thousands of satellite images, but all admitted to be composites? Why can't commercial planes cross Antarctica directly? Why does the horizon always rise to eye level instead of curving away? Each question plants doubt. Doubt creates obsession, obsession drives views, and views keep flat Earth in the spotlight no matter how hard it's attacked. So let's flip the script. What if the real reason flat Earth is mocked isn't because it's dumb, but because it's dangerous to the system? Dangerous because once you pull on that thread, you stop trusting the official story about anything. And the moment billions of people start questioning, control begins to break. That's why flat Earth is unique. It's not just a theory, it's a test. A test of how willing you are to question authority, question science, and even question the very ground beneath your feet. So I'll leave you with this. Maybe flat Earth isn't popular because it's true or false. Maybe it's popular because it touches something deeper. It's the one idea that forces you to look at your world and wonder if everything you've been told since childhood might be a script written for you. And that's why no matter how much they censor it, flat Earth refuses to die.
This is a very important clip. I know some of these clips are long, but you need to see the entire thing. That's kind of the same thing that happens with religion. When people turn away from religion, they're not turning away from good. They're not turning away or turning towards evil. They're having a problem because they're questioning whether or not they've been lied to their entire lives. Because if religion is not real and somebody made all of that up just to control us, that is a huge deception, a huge betrayal, because we literally base everything off of religion. So that's why people question it, wrestle with it, turn away from it, just become indifferent towards it. And you have to understand that that's why. Same thing with flat Earth. It really doesn't matter what the Earth is. But if it's not what they said it was, that's huge, because that means everything after Earth, which everything is on Earth. That means everything else has been a lie. That's why it's so important. And that's why we're going to fight about it until we find out the truth.
A man is woken up by his daughter saying that she heard voices in her room. What the man finds is horrifying. A man from Mexico named Jose Portillo was woken up at 3 a.m. after his daughter kept hearing what sounded like kids laughing coming from her bedroom. Given this is the second night she's woken him up now, he decides to do a deep search and makes a haunting discovery.
Pero ¿cómo se va a escuchar risa de niño y hija? A ver, pásale esa madre, pásale esa. A ver, ven nomás. Lo verga si me da miedo. Espérate, no. ¿Dónde escuchaste las voces? Pero se escuchan voces. ¿Dónde más?
Allá.
Ay, vete la.
¿Qué es eso?
Espérate.
¿Qué es eso?
No sé.
¿Qué es eso?
¿Qué verga es?
No te agarra la cámara.
No me agarran, no sé.
No se mira la cámara porque sin la cámara no se ve.
A la verga ya.
Just out the window in an open field, we can see what looks like two shadow figures running through, fading in and out. The family's left startled by the way these figures look like a human-shaped dark cloud. Since the voices his daughter heard were of kids playing, it being 3:15 a.m., and the way these figures looked compared to clear-looking objects further away, they believed they saw something that's not from this world.
Man, I think it's time we start voting on skipping 3 a.m. Just go straight from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Hotels can do it with the floors. Tech companies can do it with the 9s. How come we just can't skip 3 a.m.? They already mess with time anyway. Let's just get past that so all this creepy stuff can stop.
In this segment, Gregory is responding to being named on Nixon's enemies list, a White House list of political opponents and critics that became public during the Watergate era.
Dick, you were on the famous or infamous Watergate or the White House enemies list. What is your personal reaction to having been placed on that list?
Well, when the press got in touch with me, I think it was Bob Johnson at Jet Magazine called me when the news broke and told me I was on Nixon's enemy list. Did I have any comment? And I told him, yeah, call him up and tell him I accept before he changed his mind. Let me show you a letter that I received on September the 26th, it was mailed, long after this policy had stopped. Now, I've lived in Chicago for 20 years, and many people could write me a letter, Dick Gregory, the White House, and they would forward that mail to Chicago, and I would get it. I moved from Chicago on August the 20th. Now, I can understand if you sent a letter to Chicago, they would forward it to my new address. Here's a lady in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on the 26th of September, 73, said to Dick Gregory, I don't know his address. To the colored man that appears on talk shows on television who's lost a great amount of weight on a fruit diet and discipline. Now,
that's on the cover of the envelope.
It's on the cover of the envelope,
yeah,
right. Now,
yeah.
She drops this in the mailbox, right? When it gets downtown at the post office in Philadelphia, they put on it Post Office Box 266, Long Pond Road, Plymouth, Massachusetts, 02360. It have not stopped, man. You know, nobody in Philadelphia should know my number, and if I got a letter in Philadelphia, it should have been forwarded to Chicago, and from Chicago to here. You know, it also go deeper than the FBI. I knew my phone was being tapped, so I refused to pay my phone bill. My phone bill went up to about $3,000 or $4,000, right? And they refused to cut my phone off. So I held a press conference in Chicago and questioned why I can make, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and the phone company won't cut my phone off, but poor folks get a $14 bill and theirs get cut off, right? And I demand that they cut my phone off. Well, by the time I got home, they'd cut it off just one way, you know. Nobody could call in. I mean, I couldn't call out, but everybody could call in. They explained that to me by saying, we know you make your livelihood and run your business.
It's crazy. And it's not just now. They've been doing this all the time. Anyone who gets an audience, anyone who gets our attention, anyone we're willing to listen to has their attention. And if you say anything against them, that you're going to have their attention in the wrong way, the wrongest of ways.
How can we like hang out like?
I mean, shit. I mean, hey, we can hang out in my chat.
You don't want somebody to like pump you, make you bigger than you already are?
Who you? What can you do for me?
Only time will tell, right?
What can you do for me though?
My man, did you want to take down my contact number? We gotta set that on top.
Well, no, what can you do for me?
Huh?
What can you do for me?
The thing is, what could I not do for you, bro?
Ooh, can you give 10,000 subs?
10,000 what? One more time? Subs. Clarify that, please.
That's subscriptions. On live stream.
I can get you a lot more than that.
Ooh.
Yeah. How do I link in with this guy, dude?
He might be Illuminati.
Might be, huh? We see where he's at today, so clearly they had that meeting, and it went very well.
I'm a brainwashing expert, and I am personally terrified of short-form social media like that. And I'm not immune. And I'm one of the best in the world, and I am not immune to it. And I think that should be a stark warning for a lot of people.
Don't let anyone use this on you, okay?
And nobody at home use this on anyone else.
Don't use this on anyone else. But so there's this thing that NLP people will do, or pickup artists will do, where they move their hand like this, and the other person will begin to nod, because typically when we do this with our hand, the other person starts to nod, which makes you think, I agree, I agree, I agree.
What are you doing for anyone that is?
I'm moving my hand up and down in a nodding yes motion. And so what I've noticed very manipulative people will do is they'll be doing this, they speak like, don't you understand what I'm saying? Do you get this? And the other person will start to nod. And I've seen entire audience will start nodding. And then you think to yourself, well, I'm nodding, so I must agree with this person. It's a secret way to get someone to secretly agree with you. So just be careful and don't make sure no one uses that on you.
That's why it's best to always keep one eye on yourself. Always monitor yourself in real time. Make sure you're not watching yourself fall for any of this, because it can happen very quickly. And by the time you realize it's happened, you're self-reflecting. Do it in the moment, not after the moment has passed.
Okay, pause. When do rocks just magically float up to the top of the ocean? Now, there's people that might say Goliath grouper or something. I don't think so. You could see barnacles and stuff all around the bottom of it. It definitely looks like a rock. Why did it just rise up as this ship was going by?
Now, I'm not sure. Does the water rise and fall that quickly? Or did something just come out of the water out of nowhere on that first clip? You let me know. I don't really go in the water like that, so I don't know how quickly water can rise and fall. And if not, then what was that? And as far as that second clip goes, look, Tinkerbell's gonna get that raid can. That's what's gonna happen. I don't care what that is. It's big and it's flying around. Get the raid can, and then we'll figure out what it is.
There's a reason you look the way you do. Spiritually awakened people are not aging differently because of skincare, genetics, or some perfect routine nobody knows about. There's a reason for this, because whatever is happening in spiritually awakened people is not only happening on the skin. The skin is just where the evidence appears last. The real change begins somewhere much deeper, in a place most people never think to look. And once you understand that, you will never look at aging the same way again. Purpose is not just something you feel in your mind. Purpose changes how a person carries life in their body. And this is why spiritually awakened people often seem younger than their age. At some point, they stop living just to survive the day. They stop chasing empty approval. They stop building a life that looks good, but feels dead. Something inside them reorganizes around meaning. And that matters because people without purpose do not just feel lost. They often age like they are being pulled through life with no reason to keep their spirit involved. But a person with purpose moves differently. Their eyes have direction. Their energy has warmth. Their body is not just enduring time, it is participating in life. Even research on long-lived populations keeps pointing back to this. A felt sense of purpose is strongly connected to longer life, better health, sharper thinking, and slower decline. So when awakened people look younger, it is not always because life got easier. It is because life finally started meaning something. There is a big difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation drains you. Solitude gives you back to yourself. Most people do not realize how exhausting it is to constantly be seen. Every room asks you to adjust something. Your voice, your face, your reactions, your opinions, your posture. You laugh when you do not feel like laughing. You explain yourself when you already know what you mean. You act natural while secretly managing how people perceive you. That kind of social performance ages people quietly because the body never fully rests. But awakened people eventually step away from that. Not because they hate people, but because they understand that peace needs space. In solitude, their face stops performing. Their eyes stop asking for approval. Their body stops bracing for judgment, and slowly, something returns. Solitude does not make the awakened person empty. It gives back the energy the world kept taking in small pieces. One strange reason spiritually awakened people look younger is because they stop worshipping seriousness. Most people confuse seriousness with maturity. They think growing older means becoming less expressive, less playful, less curious, and less open. They speak carefully, laugh carefully, move carefully, as if wisdom means removing every sign of life from the body. But seriousness is not always wisdom. Sometimes seriousness is just fear trying to look mature. A lot of people become stiff because they are trying to look important. They stop joking because they do not want to look foolish. They stop showing excitement because they think excitement makes them look childish. Spiritually awakened, people often move the other way. They stop needing to prove they are deep all the time. They can laugh without feeling shallow. They can try things without needing to look perfect. They can enjoy life without explaining themselves. Maybe becoming older and becoming more serious were never the same thing. Real maturity does not kill your playfulness. It protects it from people who forgot how to feel alive. Spiritually awakened people begin to look younger because they stop feeding that machine. They do not destroy the ego in some dramatic way. They just start seeing through it. They realize they do not need to perform a self in every room. They do not need to win every silent competition. They do not need to keep polishing an identity that was never truly peaceful to live inside. And when that grip loosens, the body gets energy back. The face softens because it is no longer working so hard to hold a mask in place. The eyes become clearer because they are no longer watching everyone to see if the performance is being accepted.
And there you have it. That's the blueprint. And unfortunately, in this society, those kind of people get called antisocial. They get called a-holes. Just rude. And they're not. They just into their own thing. And it turns out that's the way it should be. So, if people think you're an a-hole, wear it as a badge of honor. Chances are you look and feel better than the people who are calling you the names. All right? That's going to do it. We get down 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 2 shorts a day, hit or miss. You know how it goes. I'm just putting the name out there. Until the next time, have a great week. Keep your eyes open. Learn something new. Make yourself better just a little bit. All right? I am the theundj. This is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories, and I'm out.